Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Moriro, and today I'll be discussing environmental pollution in South Africa, which is caused by factors such as power generation, vehicle emissions, and industrial activities. On my first slide, environmental pollution in South Africa, pollution of the atmosphere through vehicle emissions, industrial activities, and power generation. Under introduction, I'll start with a brief introduction on the impact of environmental pollution. Environmental pollution has far-reaching global impacts, driving climate change and global warming, which lead to extreme weather events and rising sea levels. Air pollution causes respiratory and cardiovascular diseases, affecting millions of people worldwide. Water pollution contaminates drinking supplies and marine ecosystems, jeopardizing the human health and biodiversity. Soil pollution diminishes agricultural productivity, threatening food security and the livelihoods of farmers. Now moving on to my presentation, I've chosen to focus on three specific sources of pollution: vehicle emissions, industrial activities, and power generation. This does not imply that these are the only sources of pollution. It was simply my choice to limit the discussion to these three. So under introduction, I have 3 points. The first one, the pollution in our environment greatly affects our health and contributes to changes in the climate. Vehicle emissions, industrial activities, and power generations are some of the sources of air pollution. Atmospheric pollution influence weather pattern. Um, Under pollution sources, I have three slides. Vehicle emissions, industrial activities, and power generations. Under vehicle emissions, as you can see on the right side of the slide, there is this traffic jam causing emissions, same as here as well as here. So let's move on to our slide. Vehicle emissions. Our major industry, transportation, encompassing airplanes, trains, ships, and cars, represents a substantial source of air pollution. The impact on our environment calls for drastic measures and an understanding of the effects of the aftermath. The transport industry can adapt to alternative technologies such as electric and hybrid cars to cut global emissions, combat air pollution, and protect the environment for future generations. The transport industry should start to adopt fuel that promotes safer environments, thus use other forms of fuel such as biofuels, hydrogen, and natural gas, in contrast to gasoline and diesel, which result in higher pollution of the environment. Our vehicle emissions accounts for 24% of global CO2 emissions. Still under pollution sources, this is industrial activities. Industries, the sectors we work in, have an impact on climate change through contamination of the air and soil. Factories release greenhouse gases by burning fossil fuels, significantly contributing to global warming and climate change. Improperly disposing of waste by industries can harm the planet and pollute air sources, causing pollution. Industries can influence air pollution reduction by gradually transitioning to renewable and dependable energy sources. Our industry activities accounts for 21% of global greenhouse gas emissions. This is the last slide on the sources of pollution, which is power generation. Our coal-fire powered electricity plants play a role in air pollution as they release greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide CO2 and nitrous oxide N2O into the atmosphere. The emissions generated by the combustion of fuels are a factor in the development of climate change, acid rain, and respiratory issues. Industrial leaders can address the impact of waste disposal by adhering to the laid down rules and regulations at local, national, and international levels that oversees the management of hazardous waste. Industrialists can promote and involves identifying opportunities to recycle or reuse hazardous materials within the production process or by external recyclers to minimize the population of our planet. The pollution of our planet. Power generation accounts for 40% of global CO2 emissions. This is the last slide, conclusion and call to action. Major contributors to pollution include power generation, burning fossil fuels, emissions from vehicles, and industrial manufacturing processes. Call to action. In order to build a green and more eco tomorrow, we must leverage cutting edge solutions to promote the adoption of electric cars, implementing stringent regulations for industries, and raise public awareness. This is the last slide, but before closing off, I would like to read the words of Robert Swain, who said, "The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it." In conclusion, I hope I've given an overview of the impact of environmental pollution in South Africa. Thank you.